The forbidden soil method that still works today. There's a farming technique from the 1800s that could triple your harvest overnight. Governments banned it. Industries fought against it. But here's the shocking part. It wasn't banned because it failed. It was banned because it worked too well. I'm William Scott, and here on Hidden Gardening Secrets, we dig up the methods that mainstream gardening forgot. Hit that subscribe button right now because what I'm about to show you could change the way you grow food forever. And if you stick around until the end, I'll give you the exact steps to use this technique safely in your own garden today. Let's talk about the soil trick they didn't want you to know.
The discovery that changed everything. Back in the middle of the 19th century, farmers were facing a massive problem. Their land was dying, crops were failing, families were going hungry. The population was exploding, cities were swelling, and good farmland was harder and harder to find. Then, something remarkable happened. Farmers across England, France, Germany, and America stumbled onto a method that transformed worthless ground into black, rich, productive soil almost instantly. Fields that barely produced anything suddenly yielded double, sometimes triple, the normal amount of food. For people who depended on every single ear of corn, every potato, every head of cabbage, this wasn't just helpful, it was miraculous. But within a few decades, lawmakers made it illegal. They called it filthy, dangerous, backward. Not because it didn't work, but because it threatened the entire system of modern farming that was just beginning to take shape. Before we go further, do me a favor. Hit that like button if you're curious about old gardening wisdom that actually works. It helps more people find this channel, and trust me, you'll want to share this with every gardener you know.
Ancient wisdom from across the world. Now, this technique wasn't something Europeans invented. In reality, Asian farmers had been using it successfully for thousands of years. In China, Korea, and Japan, nothing went to waste. Human waste, yes, what came from the body, was carefully collected, aged, and returned to the farmland. It wasn't seen as garbage, it was seen as treasure. Chinese agriculture stayed fertile for over 4,000 years without any factory-made chemicals. That's not an accident. That's proof of a system that worked. During Japan's Edo period, wealthy city families actually sold their waste to merchants. These merchants would haul it out to the countryside, where farmers competed to buy the best supplies. Some farmers even signed contracts with specific neighborhoods because they knew the quality was better. Think about that for a second. Something we flush away today was once valuable enough to fight over.
How it reached the West. Meanwhile, in Europe, cities like London were drowning in their own waste. By the early 1800s, the streets were packed, housing was cramped, and there was no modern plumbing. That's when the night soil men appeared. These workers would come after dark, hence the name, and empty chamber pots and outdoor toilets. They'd load everything onto carts and haul it out of the city. Then they'd spread it across farmland. And here's where things get interesting. The crops grown with this material didn't just survive, they thrived. Farmers reported grain so full it nearly burst, vegetables so healthy they could hardly believe it, harvests so big they had more food than they knew what to do with. Traditional animal manure couldn't compete. Even early compost couldn't match the speed and power of what night soil delivered. For struggling families, this was the difference between surviving the winter and starving. It wasn't just fertilizer, it was survival. If you're enjoying this deep dive into forgotten gardening history, drop a comment below and let me know. What old farming trick do you want me to cover next? Your suggestions help me create content you actually care about.
Why government stepped in. So if this method worked so well, why did it disappear? The answer has nothing to do with farming and everything to do with fear. As cities became more crowded, waste became a nightmare. When it wasn't handled correctly, it contaminated drinking water.
Rivers turned toxic. Wells became dangerous. Diseases like cholera, typhoid, and dysentery ripped through neighborhoods. Entire communities were wiped out. Tens of thousands of people died. Understandably, people were terrified. City officials didn't care that farmers loved night soil. They saw it as a public health crisis. So governments across Europe and America launched massive projects to build sewer systems. The goal was simple: get waste out of sight and out of mind. Instead of recycling it back to farms, they flushed it into rivers and oceans. All those nutrients, gone, forever. And just as this was happening, a new industry was being born.
The rise of chemical fertilizers. In the late 1800s, mining companies discovered huge deposits of nitrate in Chile. They started shipping it all over the world. Then, in the early 1900s, two scientists named Haber and Bosch figured out how to create synthetic nitrogen in factories. For the first time ever, fertilizer could be mass-produced. It was uniform, it was convenient, and it was extremely profitable. Chemical companies didn't waste any time. They launched aggressive marketing campaigns, calling waste-based farming old-fashioned, dirty, and risky. Their pitch was brilliant. Why mess around with something unpredictable and unsanitary when you can buy a clean bag of fertilizer? It worked. Farmers started turning away from night soil, not because it failed, but because society was being pushed in a different direction. By the 1920s, this once essential practice had nearly vanished from Western agriculture. What had sustained entire civilizations for millennia was now dismissed as primitive. But the truth never changed. When handled properly, it was still one of the most effective fertility methods ever used.
The science behind the power. Here's the irony. Even as lawmakers were banning night soil, scientists knew exactly how powerful it was. Take human urine, for example. When it's fresh and clean, it contains almost the same amount of nitrogen as commercial fertilizers you'd buy at a garden center today. And it doesn't stop there. Urine is also loaded with phosphorus and potassium, two nutrients plants absolutely need. And here's the best part. These nutrients are in a form plants can absorb immediately. No waiting, no breaking down, just instant fuel. Farmers in the 1800s called it liquid gold, and they weren't exaggerating. Now compare that to compost. Don't get me wrong, compost is fantastic. It improves soil structure, holds moisture, and feeds beneficial microbes. But compost is slow. It takes months to break down, and even then, nutrients are released gradually. That's great for long-term health, but it can't compete with the immediate, concentrated boost that diluted urine or aged night soil provided. In fact, some old agricultural journals from the 1800s flat out said that urine could outgrow compost because it fed plants exactly what they needed, exactly when they needed it. For a farmer trying to feed a family, that difference could mean everything. And the evidence wasn't just stories. In Asia, where night soil systems stayed in place, farmland remained productive for generations. Meanwhile, in Europe and America, soils that relied on only chemical fertilizers would spike in productivity, then crash just as fast. Even modern researchers have tested urine-based fertilizers against commercial products. The results? Comparable, sometimes even better, especially for leafy greens, corn, and cabbage. So yes, compost is wonderful, but when it comes to pure, rapid plant growth, this banned technique really did have few equals. And that's exactly why I created Hidden Gardening Secrets, to bring you the methods that work, not just the ones that are popular. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. You won't find this information anywhere else. Bringing it into the modern age. Now let me be clear. I'm not suggesting we go back to the 1800s and start hauling buckets of raw waste into our gardens. That would be unsafe, unsanitary, and illegal. But what if we took the principles behind this method and adapted them with modern science and safety standards? That's exactly what smart gardeners and researchers are doing today. Method 1, diluted urine fertilizer. The simplest approach is using diluted urine. When it's fresh, urine is sterile. Mix it with water, usually 1 part urine to 10 parts water, and you have a free, fast-acting liquid fertilizer. Gardeners are using it on heavy feeders like tomatoes, corn, squash, and cabbage with excellent results. Some dilute it even more, 1 part urine to 20 parts water for seedlings and container plants. The key is to pour it on the soil, not the leaves, and to rotate where you apply it so nutrients stay balanced. Method 2, composting toilets. This might sound futuristic, but composting toilets are already in use around the world. By composting human waste for at least a year at high temperatures, all harmful germs are destroyed. What's left is dark, crumbly material that looks and smells just like rich garden compost, only with higher nutrient content. Off-grid homesteads, eco-villages, and regenerative farms are using these systems successfully. They're turning waste into a valuable soil resource. Method 3, community projects. There are even large-scale projects happening right now. In Vermont, a program called the Rich Earth Institute collects donated urine, sanitizes it, and returns it to farmland. Their research shows impressive crop yields, lower costs, and a major reduction in synthetic fertilizer use. Imagine if more communities did this: less mining, fewer chemicals, healthier soils. The big lesson? Balance. This isn't about going backward. It's about taking ancient wisdom, adding modern safety, and creating smarter, more sustainable ways to garden. If this is making sense to you, share this video with a friend who loves gardening. Let's spread real knowledge, not just trends.
How to do this safely at home? All right, let's get practical. How can you, especially if you're an older gardener, use these ideas safely and easily? The good news: you don't need fancy equipment, heavy lifting, or expensive tools. Just a watering can, some water, and a little confidence. Step 1. Start small. Pick 1 bed or a few pots. Dilute fresh urine at 1 part to 10 parts water. Pour it around heavy feeders like tomatoes or squash. Watch what happens over the next few weeks. You'll likely see greener leaves and stronger growth. Step 2. Always dilute. Never use it straight. Undiluted urine is too strong and will burn roots. Stick with 1 to 10 for most crops, or 1 to 20 for delicate plants. When in doubt, add more water. Step 3. Rotate your applications. Don't pour in the same spot every time. Move around so nutrients stay balanced and no area gets overloaded. Think of it like rotating crops, but for your fertilizer. Step 5. Timing matters. Apply in the early morning or evening. This prevents evaporation and reduces stress on plants. Plus, it's easier on you, no working in the hot midday sun. Step 6. Keep composting. Never stop making compost. It's still the foundation. Think of compost as your garden's steady diet, and diluted urine as the vitamin boost that speeds things up. Step 7. Stay safe. If you explore composting toilets or human ear systems, follow all safety guidelines. Wear gloves. Keep piles hot and managed. Let them sit for a full year before use. Safety is what makes this responsible. And here's the best part for older gardeners. This method is easy on your body. No heavy bags to carry. No back-breaking work. Just a watering can and a short walk. In return, you get healthier plants, bigger harvests, and the satisfaction of using resources wisely.
Closing thoughts: the cycle of life. The real lesson here goes beyond fertilizer. Nature doesn't throw anything away. Every fallen leaf, every drop of rain, every bit of organic matter feeds the next generation. It's a perfect cycle of renewal. When industrial farming broke that cycle, flushing nutrients away and replacing them with chemicals, we lost more than soil fertility. We lost resilience, we lost balance, and we lost our connection to the earth. But here's the beautiful part. As gardeners, we can restore it, right in our own backyards. With compost piles, cover crops, mulch, and even a simple watering can of diluted urine, we can close the loop. We can feed the soil, strengthen our plants, and rely less on expensive products that come in plastic bags.
Maybe this lesson hits even harder as we get older. We understand patience, we value wisdom, and we know the power of using what we already have instead of wasting it. The farmers of the 1800s may have been banned from using this method, but we're free to adapt it safely, responsibly, and wisely. And when we do, we reconnect with a timeless truth. Fertility doesn't come from a factory. It comes from honoring the cycles of life. So, here's my challenge to you. Don't keep this to yourself. Share this video with a fellow gardener who loves discovering real techniques that actually work. And if you want more forgotten wisdom brought back to life, subscribe to Hidden Gardening Secrets. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Because the soil is alive, and with the right care, it will keep feeding us, our families, and generations yet to come. Thanks for watching. I'm William Scott, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep growing, keep learning, and keep those gardens thriving.